Okay, part two of my Godzilla King of the Monsters spoiler review. The Titans are on the loose. They're following the lead of their alpha, King Ghidorah, and the world is just in utter chaos. The Titans are even causing disasters they don't have names for yet, as one character states. The Monarch crew goes back to their home base, Castle Bravo, which very interesting twist considering what the Castle Bravo, I mean, not twist nod, considering what the Castle Bravo tests were in the film universe, and that the real life Castle Bravo was part of the inspiration for Godzilla in the first place. So, they meet up with the Admiral from the first one. There's the full naval escort around the Castle Bravo, and Kyle Chandler's character, he decides to leave to go find his daughter. It's raining, and suddenly the sky breaks open in light, and it's Mothra, and it turns out she's communicating with Godzilla. So they track Godzilla, and they make a plan to let off a nuke to heal him. And also, at one point, I'm just going to bring it up now so I don't have to talk about it later. Millie Bobby Brown's character, Madison Russell, steals the Yorga. Boston's being evacuated, and DC is just being wiped off the map at this time. And because Boston's evacuated, her plan is to use the Argo to stop the Titans, so she starts broadcasting from Fenway Park. And it does work, but unfortunately, this guy hears the signal and he is not happy. So they go to They take the sub down. Their plan is to launch a nuke to revitalize him. They get pulled into a vortex, which is from the hollow earth, and they find a temple under the ocean. How did it get there? What was the geological state of the earth that temple was there in the first place back then? I like it because it asks more questions than it answers, but it does it in the right way. It's planting seeds. Could this be Atlantis? So, as they get closer, radiation levels keep rising. They send some drones, and the radiation shorts them out. They can't launch a missile because the sub's guidance systems have been damaged, and Serizawa decides to make the sacrifice. We get a great scene between him and Kyle Chandler where he has his watch and he asks, "What time is it?" And Serizawa goes, "Time to get a new watch." And he goes, "You know, that was always my son's favorite joke. You would pull that watch out and he would ask you which time it was." And he brings up, 5 years ago you told me a day may come when I have to help save the thing that killed my son. And Dr. Serizawa tells him, sometimes in order to heal from our wounds, we have to make peace with that which caused them. And he's like, that's deep, that's thoughtful, and Serizawa just played it off. I got it off of a fortune cookie. It was a really good fortune cookie, which I like that touch because it shows the humility of Serizawa. He is smart, but he doesn't act that way. He plays it off like he's just a regular guy. Not better, so we get better than anyone, so we get farewells between the Monarch people. Brad Whitford's character shakes his hand and tells him it's been an honor. Serizawa takes the sub. Then he carries the nuke, sets it off. He takes off the helmet and his glove and touches Godzilla, which why not? If you're either going to die of radiation poisoning in seconds or be blown up, why not touch Godzilla? And he says, "Goodbye, old friend." While this is going on, the sub's rushing to the surface. Godzilla gets rejuvenated and is now glowing from all the radiation coming off of him. This is a 3D print I had done. the paint was inspired from what happened to Godzilla in this movie. And Godzilla shoots his atomic breath in the sky, leans over, looks at the people on the sub, and takes off for Ghidorah. The Argo picks up the Monarch crew, and from here, it's just great. Everyone has something to do. The action is nonstop. Ghidorah shows up when it looks like he's going to kill Madison Russell. He gets hit with an atomic blast in what is truly one of the most epic shots in the entire franchise. Godzilla in the bay, fighter jets, Ospreys at his back, the U.S. Navy escorting him. He is coming towards Ghidorah, and he has the entire weight of the U.S. military at his back. With an awesome rendition of the Godzilla march playing, they run towards each other, start fighting. Mothra joins in. We get great lines like in the Argo, "Is it just me or has he been working out? Sarazawa's got that lizard juiced!" And they find out Godzilla's building up too much energy, he's gonna blow. The crew is in a rush to find Madison, and Emma Russell, who left, shows up and she's helping find them. Mothra shows up to a point where she even spits cocooning at Ghidorah's heads and pins them to the building so Godzilla can get a free shot. I love that Mothra and Godzilla's species have a symbiotic relationship. Mothra and Rodan are fighting. Godzilla and Ghidorah are fighting. There's the rush on the ground to find Madison. Mothra basically puts Rodan in timeout. Godzilla's down and out at this point, and Mothra lands on his body in a defensive posture, flies towards Ghidorah, sadly gets killed, but the credits reveal that there is another egg, and we see that her powder seems to have a healing effect on Godzilla. While this is going on, they find Madison. They're rushing to fix the Orca to lure Ghidorah away to buy Godzilla a chance to get on his feet. Ghidorah picks Godzilla up, drops him from the atmosphere, and starts draining his power. They fix the Orca, and Emma Russell decides to make the sacrifice play and lure Ghidorah away so everyone else can get off in the Osprey. And she ultimately winds up dying, but kind of a good move for her daughter and her ex-husband, because let's face it, had she lived, she would have been tried and executed for crimes against humanity. Right before she dies, she says, "Long live the king," and we get the scene where Godzilla becomes Fire Godzilla, a burning Godzilla type Godzilla. He's putting off so much heat and radiation, metal around him starts melting, and he lets out nuclear pulses, frying Ghidorah's wings, frying his head. He has him on the ground, crushing his foot into Ghidorah's chest before it blows up. Then the next scene, we see rubble, a statue of Paul Revere shaking. Godzilla bursts out of the rubble. Ghidorah's center head in his mouth, in a nice kind of kiss of death-like move, like what he did with the Muto. He shoots his atomic breath off. The middle head is still writhing, and it goes through the neck, out the mouth, and disintegrates. Then we see other titans that were in the movie, even Rodan, and they all submit themselves before Godzilla, with him roaring in triumph. In the credits cut, we get Bear McCreary's version of the Godzilla song. We get great classic Toho music in the end credits. And it is just a treat. All the Easter eggs in the credits, like the egg thing nodded. I believe there was one about Rodan making a nest in Mount Fuji. A cave painting showing one of Kong's species fighting with a Godzilla. Oh, this was awesome. And then the most touching part, the last part of the credits, in memory of Yoshimitsu Banno, who we all know directed Godzilla vs. Hedorah, and in memory of Haruo Nakajima, with a picture of Nakajima coming out of the Godzilla suit. And like I said, Nakajima would have been proud if he lived to see this movie. Then we get an end credit scene where we find out the terrorist guy, Charles Dance's character, gets access to Ghidorah's head that was ripped off in the water. Again, this is an absolute solid slam dunk A+ movie for me. This is the most fun I've had at the movies, possibly ever. It may not be to everyone's liking, but I loved every second of this movie, and I cannot brag on it enough. So, yeah, it still has problems. I'm going to do a video at some point addressing the problems, but for me it was just so fun, I'm willing to overlook them. I'll give you one before I close. They didn't make Rodan very credible, but don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.